Looking for excitement? Chumba Casino is here. Play anytime, play anywhere. Play on the train, play at the store, play at home, play when you're bored. Play today for your chance to win and get daily bonuses when you log in. So what are you waiting for? Don't delay. Chumba Casino is free to play.
Experience social gameplay like never before. Go to Chumba Casino right now to play hundreds of games, including online slots, bingo, Slingo, and more. Live the Chumba life at ChumbaCasino.com. VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
It's AutoNation's Black Friday used car sales event. Now through Sunday only. Take advantage of reduced prices on thousands of used cars, trucks, and SUVs. All makes, all models on sale. Domestics, imports, luxury, on sale. This is one Black Friday used car sales event you can't afford to miss. Hurry to the AutoNation store near you today or shop now at AutoNation.com.
Welcome to Tunnel Talk, and No Facts, All Feelings podcast, wrestling podcast on the Social Suplex Network. I'm Allie.
I'm Van.
I'm Leah, and I think this is going to be a high-quality episode.
Amateur hour over here.
We're so giggly, and we've done, like, nothing. We barely even chit-chatted, and we're already, like,
I said
out of
something
pocket.
insane like, let's save it for the pod. Rushed everyone into recording. We all did a horrible job getting set up, and now I don't remember what our podcast is about. Girls, welcome back.
Welcome back.
I missed you guys.
I missed you.
guys.
Wow. Okay, let's everyone weigh in. What did you do with your November break from podcasting?
So
Leah, don't look at me like that. It's a really normal question.
I didn't know there'd be a quiz.
Well, you're the one who's going to have to come up with answers because we have, like, stuff where I went to a horrible software go live and worked 12-hour shifts for 2 straight weeks, although it was more like 10-hour shifts by the
They
time,
really had you in the
thankfully.
salt mines.
Yeah, it was like in a windowless room that they were keeping at about 50 degrees, I would say, and it was in South Florida, so the South Floridians were not ready for this. So people would like go out into the hospital and come back with like a pile of blankets in their arms and be like, does anybody need these? And then they all got taken, and every blanket in the gift shop got bought out. And
It's like you were doing some kind of like Antarctic outpost role play at your
it was really odd. They kept calling facilities to see if they could do something about it, but nothing apparently could be done. And then people were sending messages in like the group chat that were like, this is like a cruel joke. So I was like, Chris, a 60-year-old man, I love your melodramatic energy. It is cold in here, though, yeah.
If I were doing 10 to 12-hour shifts, it would, like, day one, that would be my energy, though, to be fair. This is a cruel joke.
Cruel joke, yeah.
Well, that was a really good answer. And did you do anything
Thanks
fun,
so
or
much.
you just had that work stuff?
Well, I did have like 3 days off while I was there, so I did hit the
huge.
pool while I was off. That was exciting. It was nice. Yeah, and then the last week that I've been back, like Thanksgiving was nice, and I'm finally kind of feeling normal, so that's good.
Love that for you. And I think everything that happens here tonight will only help you feel more normal.
Honestly, like this week I kept being like, it's Wednesday. Wait, I have to watch. I'm like, I don't have to do anything today. Wait, I have to watch wrestling, and like same thing today. Really,
But
off
don't
schedule.
you think getting back into our routines is like gonna ground us in reality a little bit?
Yeah,
like, I know
for sure.
we're off this. Like we're already off routine because we obviously couldn't record on our Thursday because of Thanksgiving. But even just having like my things, I'm like, yes, this is.
Yeah.
I'm in the world. I'm of the
For
world.
sure.
You know, but
like it
let
was
me hit
good for
you with
me not to
something.
have it, have like a recovery week last week, but it was very, like I had no idea what day it was at all.
I loved having no routines. I was really
Oh, I
thriving
loved
under
it
those
too, but I
conditions.
don't think it was good for me.
Okay,
That's what
fair.
That's what I was gonna say when you cruelly quizzed me about my behaviors. Was just that I was like, oh, I did whatever I wanted. I had dinner at any time. I slept.
Wow.
I didn't. I watched.
How many seasons?
Non-mandated television. It was amazing.
Non-mandated television.
I didn't follow a single wrestling source. I didn't think the name Dave Meltzer.
Wow.
That couldn't be me. course, I still thought of Big Dave every day.
Every day, morning and night, before I went to bed. Think about it.
When I kneel to say my prayers, of course, I keep Big Dave in them. Well, I had a nice month off, and I wish I were on vacation again.
Yeah, tell us about Australia. How'd it go?
Nice, so nice down there. It's just so nice. It was really good weather in Sydney, and
nice.
I went to the beach every day, and I hiked around, and I brought 3 carabiners with me, just thinking I might need these. And then I used them to make a backpack out of my tote bag, and I thought, this is so gay. I was so happy with myself. Like, my God, I just brought my emergency carabiners and then fashioned a bit of utilitarian gear with them.
That is the lesbian dream. Yeah, for sure. And were you wearing Birkenstocks while you did this?
Yeah, I was.
I know, yeah.
And actually, well, I don't know what this is. The Birkenstocks I had brought, they were giving me blisters the first day, which actually quite often happens to me because I'm walking quite a bit. And so I thought, I think they need to be tighter. And then I had to go find a sewing store so that I could buy an awl so that I could put new...
Wow. You did a lot of fashioning the vacation.
I felt like MacGyver. I mean, I was really alive. If I wasn't lying on a beach, I was MacGyvering. I was eating a sandwich. I ate a lot of sandwiches.
Only you can say I bought it all with like a level of smugness and pleasure.
I did feel really pleased with myself about it. But then I also thought, God, I should have brought mine. You should have brought your all?
To Australia?
I do have one, yeah. Why would you ever bring it? I guess
Australia's in Australia. You need to buy one, as you learned.
They got almost everything you need down there. And some other stuff to boot, So, saw a lot of birds.
Nice. That's so
Great
important.
country, 10 out of 10. I will be back. Any other vacation catch-up? Anything you were desperate to tell us, but we weren't here to be told? I don't know why it sounds like I'm like, someone's holding out on me.
Yeah, it's like you think there's something in particular.
Hey! All right, well, if you think of it, it'll come up. A little bit of podcast business up front. We just wanted to let you know that Chopped Tees, chopped-tees.com, they sell our merch, is having a big Black Friday super sale. Oh, it started. Wow. Or is it even going to be ongoing? Oh, it is. Okay.
It is.
Okay. It started on the 27th, which doesn't matter to you at all at this point. And it will be on
You've already missed a couple days. Hurry up.
Oh, my God. Get to your computer.
Get
fast.
your computers ASAP.
It's only going to be going until Thursday, 5th December, 12 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time. Run!
And if you have not purchased some of Trish and Sarah's beautiful merchandise,
Oh my God.
After the commercial they did for us on their podcast, I have to say, their merch, quite fine quality.
And let me think of some specific scenarios, like, does your head ever get kind of cold because your brain is working so hard thinking about data patterns? You might need a beautiful Trish and Sarah beanie that'll keep it nice and warm while it does its hard work.
That thinker, it'll be insulated.
Oh, yes, you're going to have a super insulated thinker, and it's going to feel so warm and calm and be able to make connections it couldn't make before.
Wow.
And I think that's what we heard from them, that they've had that experience with the beanie.
They actually, as their producer, I can confirm that they put their beanies on before they start podcasting now.
They never podcast without a beanie.
Never.
Number one rule.
That star on it just like focuses the cosmic rays right in, right?
I think it's similar to a tinfoil hat. It keeps everything safe. That's what it's for, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, go check out the sale at chopped-tees.com, and please don't forget, you've already missed days and days of it.
You've got to
You've
go.
already
As soon
missed
as you
a lot
hear
of
this,
times.
You have to run.
Yeah. And we have new brown sweatshirts for Tunnel Talk, too. So that's exciting.
We do. Beautiful color.
Our hoodie situation is so good. You got the big fuzzy one, and then you got the more normal brown one. Oh, you can really
and
cozy
you've got
it up this winter.
brown crew neck as well, and the orange hoodie's still out there too. So
Yeah.
Have it your way.
Put it on
have it
your
your
Christmas
way.
list. Do you think we're like effortlessly natural at selling things?
I think you can tell that we're really natural saleswomen. Yeah.
Totally. We love pitching product. Anyway, okay, so we're back. We were gone. Let me just check in. I think I know the answer to this. Did anybody watch any wrestling before we gathered together to watch Full Gear all month?
I did one Wednesday the second week. I put it on in my hotel room at 8 because I remembered it was Wednesday, which was amazing.
That's huge.
It might have been my day off. And I thought, I'd just pop it on the old TV and see what's up. So then I was confused because, like, people... Like, someone sent us a really, really nice catch-up document, so I was going through it, and I was like, wait, I already saw that. Why am I so... And then I was like, oh, right, you watched, like... But I only watched it for, like, an hour, and then I was like, why am I doing this? I'm not required to. And then I stopped.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't say hugely good things about the product, perhaps, but...
It was also, like, it was 9 p.m., so that was bedtime.
That's fair. That's fair. Oh, my God. I was on because I never really... I'm a real night owl, naturally, and I struggle not to stay up until like 2 a.m. every single night. So when I go to Australia, what I do is I don't fully adapt to jet lag. I just become not a night owl and go to bed at like 8:30 every night. It is amazing. Did you guys know about this? It is amazing how much you can do in a day if you're up at the crack of 6 a.m. feeling bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. I was... routinely, it would be like 11 a.m. and I'd be saying, just totally unironically, you can live a whole day before noon.
Somewhere Sarah is like pumping her fists in the air and saying, yes, Allie, yes! Sometimes on the weekends, it's as if we're in 2 different time zones because she'll send me a video and she'll be like, I've been to Costco and I filled up my tank and I did this and I did that and I ran a marathon and I organized my basement. And I'm like, bitch, it's 10 o'clock.
Oh my God. When it's happening to you, it's the most electrifying thing you can imagine. I mean, I felt like a brand new girl, and she rocked. She was so cool.
Or sometimes when your shift starts at 6 and then you're like, wow, I've gotten a ton done today. And you look at the clock and it's 9 a.m. and you're like, wow, there's a lot of day left. Yeah.
That's kind of a worse situation.
There was one night at like 4 when I think Leah had something crash in her house and woke her up. Allie was on Australian time, and I was waking up for work that we were all online.
Guys, that was really
confusing.
sweet.
Yeah,
that is true. Something crashed in my house, and I posted at 4 a.m. and we all emojied it. Why are we all
What's happening here? I think I did say, like, I'm a little worried about what's going on with you right now.
Well, I was like, I'm waiting for the killer to come get me. And you were like, it was probably one of your cats. And I was like, no, Allie, don't be stupid. They were in the room with me. I watched them.
They were in the room with me, Allie. You don't understand. Well, she's still with us here, folks. She's doing fine. Yeah. Okay, so we didn't watch very much wrestling while we were gone. We came back together to watch Full Gear, and we watched Dynamite this week. Mm-hmm. How did you guys find the experience of returning to wrestling with a month of anything else in the world under your belt?
I think Full Gear was challenging because, like, there was some stuff where I was like, no, why are they mad at each other? And didn't really have access to that.
Yeah.
But I would say Dynamite was fine. And because if you think, like, the Dynamite after a pay-per-view is a reset anyways, it was like, oh, just hop it in, the water's fine.
Yeah. For Full Gear, I felt a little bit like I'd lost my conditioning, too. It was like when I went back to tennis practice, like, after pandemic time off, and was like, after 20 minutes, I was like, oh my God, are we not done yet? Like, I have to go for an hour and a half, which had not been a problem, 4 months before or whatever.
Yeah, so our stamina had waned.
And it was a little harder to get into the matches without having a little, investment in the conflict, for sure.
Yeah. Although, well, I kind of felt like, Leah, you said, like, tonight we are those mythological casual fans. And by the end of the night, I thought, wow, the casual fans have a pretty good life. They show up. They don't get too mad about anything. They don't get too happy about most stuff. They're just having an okay time throughout. And that feels good. Because I had read some responses to various things, so I knew there was stuff that people were happy about, not happy about. And it was pretty fun to be like, wow, and I don't share any of those strong feelings for the most part. I know when I was horny and I know when I was bored. That's about it.
Right? Yeah, that was the emotional spectrum. Those were the two ends, which neither of them are too bad. You know?
No. I think I said that about the casual fan, that we were casual fans now, because I was watching the little video package that they were playing before one of the feuds, and I was like, this is actually incredibly helpful. I think video packages are good, actually. I'm finding this very useful. I hope there's no discourse that's been raging for years about this topic, because I'm loving it.
And actually, I think then we circled back, I at least during Dynamite a couple times, again, unironically said, I wish we had a little video package. I could have used a little video package.
It's a little recap.
The fact is that if you're not thinking about wrestling enough to be talking about it online, you need a little video package. You really do. That's all I can tell you. Okay.
I mean, it doesn't have to be like beat for beat. Just like remind me, like, why is Kyle there? Just remind me.
Honestly, like, just if they did a little previously on every week, you know, for 30 seconds, it would help, even for those of us who watched it every week.
Give us our here's what we missed on Glee. We missed all of it this month.
Missed all of it.
Missed all of it.
Ooh. Oh, we don't have to talk about any of this, really. Everyone was mad about the Costco guys while we were gone, but then I watched the match and I thought, I like the Costco guys more now than I did before. And I didn't know that much about them before.
I honestly did too. They looked like they were having a really good time, and it's fun to watch people have a good time. And it seems like they engaged the middle school boy demographic, which I'm sure was the goal.
Which I think is vital. I mean, at least people seem to think, you know.
Well, it's like, where do you get new fans? It's like middle school boys and people in crisis, and it's a lot harder to market to people in crisis. Like, what are you going to do? Play ads in therapist's office? Like,
I mean, Tony should consider it.
That is not nothing. That is something to think about, but...
Someone talked about that being a reason that ratings were so high during the pandemic when everyone was in crisis.
Yeah, that's how they got us.
Nothing. Okay. Yeah, I thought they were fine, and that QT Marshall tried to beat up that little Rizzler so rude, but Paul White didn't let him, and I think that was good of Paul White.
And Paul White kept walking with his holding little Rizzler's hand, and it was so sweet.
I'm like, if the Costco guys continue to be affiliated with AEW and do 0-hour matches, that's fine with me. I don't care about that.
Yeah, I did like Big Justice better than the Rizzler, though, which is
something you have an opinion about that.
I know, it's a little distressing to have an opinion, but I do.
You know, I kept thinking about, like, that little Rizzler is so young, I think, and I just hope he's feeling okay. And he mostly seemed like he was, so I thought that was nice.
He got to ring the bell, which I didn't know that they did a physical bell, to be honest. I don't know what I thought they did. I thought it was digital, I think.
Me too.
People get hit with it all the time.
Damn it.
I thought it was a prop bill. It's got to be rigged, right?
Good, Ann. You haven't forgotten everything.
They would never rig anything in wrestling.
Not in wrestling.
It's a pure sport.
Okay, so the way we're doing the schedule today, we are going to run through the Full Gear card first and talk about the storylines as we understand them / understood them when we were watching the show. And then we'll circle back on some of the storyline stuff that happened on Dynamite this week. So let's quick start. We've got the tag team 4-way, Private Party, Kings of the... Oh, I forgot about their gay little tag team name, Kings of the Black Throne. The Acclaimed and the Outrunners. And Private Party won and retained their belts. Any thoughts or things that you knew about this match?
No, I honestly had even forgotten it happened by today, which is a little alarming. It was very
surprised when you read this.
Yeah, it was confusing to me that it was a 4-way. I mean, it's like that's fine, I guess, but how Private Party can't have their own match? I don't know.
I definitely did time travel to 2022. Whatever we used to be like, there's too many men. Why is there so many men? Because I think because I was out of practice, I was just like, there's so many of them. What are they all doing here?
And then we got really scared. Tony, please take some of them away. I hate this. I thought So I think the stuff going on in this match, as I understand it, is just that the Acclaimed are breakup bound, and they were having some friction mid-match.
Yeah, which seems not bad to me to break those guys up. So
fine.
Yeah.
All right. Well, private party.
I mean, it's fine. They're not. It's not that I think that they're perfectly like tag team married and could never break up or anything, but I am sort of like, there's so few Jenga pieces in the tag team tower right now. Are we losing another one? But at the same time, like,
Tony, are you trying to eliminate the tag team division? Like, honestly, the number of tag teams who are breaking up and or haven't gotten back together when I thought they would, and or turned out not to be tag teams. The Hurt Business. We'll talk about you later. Do we have any left? Yeah. Well, I think Private Party should probably get a storyline. My understanding is they didn't have much of a storyline this month, aside from however this match got built. So I would give them a storyline of some sort. With another tag team, if we have any more in the back.
If someone could just dig around in the bin and see if we've got any. I could have sworn we bought a lot 3 years ago.
They're always just going missing.
They're all in the washing machine and the crevices.
That is how it feels like we keep bringing
just
up
got single socks. Yeah.
It's just like, but they're people, so we're being like, can you go find your friend, buddy? Do you think if I let you back down there, you could find him? And they're like, no. I don't know how I would do that. All right. MJF defeats Roderick Strong. So before we left, I think I had started to think that we were wrong about Roddy even being involved in this wager, but I guess he was involved.
Perfect pacing.
Not too fast, not too slow. Just right. It's my understanding that MJF communicated either solely or mostly via pre-tapes all month, and then he fought Roddy in this match, and he beat him, and Adam Cole came out afterwards, I think, really mad, and then Kyle O'Reilly came out, too, and he was mad at Adam Cole for making everybody fight his battles for him, which I think Adam Cole wanted to fight this battle, but I don't really know what was said in their absence.
I think Adam Cole was like, I'd like to fight MJF, and Roddy came out of nowhere and was like, I too also would like to fight MJF.
The snake of this logic is eating its own tail, I think. I think there's some problem where, I don't know, the men around Adam Cole have maybe been cursed to always volunteer to fight for him. So they'll be saying 1 second, stop making me fight for you. But then the second Adam Cole goes to fight, they can't help it. They're just like, it has to be me instead.
There's some kind of NXT curse that linked them all together in this kind of formation forever.
If we could blame Triple H for this, I think that would be ideal. So shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
That's perfect. We are going to circle back on the MJF Adam Cole stuff later, so we can move on from it now. Mercedes fought Chris and won and retained her belt. And I think the build for this was somehow mostly about Camille, who quit as Mercedes' henchwoman either this week or on Dynamite. I don't remember.
On Dynamite, I think Mercedes went to fire her, and then she was like, you can't fire me, I quit, basically.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of the match?
Yeah, the match was great. And I love this new personality that Mercedes has debuted of kind of spoiled brat having temper tantrum all the time, which is great because her CEO catchphrase, cheerful thing is a very kind of fakey personality. But if she's got a little spoiled brat freaking out inside there, that's fun.
They both did a very good job of conveying why won't you die? You know what I mean? Mercedes was coming at it of how dare you challenge me? Just die, little bug. And Chris kept doing all of her beautiful, strong, powerful moves, which Mercedes kept getting up from. And she also looked like she was like, I'm going to put my fist through a tree. So mad.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I loved the temper tantrums. I think we discussed this. I think we have seen her do that sometimes, but not to this degree and not the way she was escalating in this match. And I don't care if some people, well, actually no one complained about it, so I won't even bring a complaint up. I thought it was so fun. And I thought, you should be doing this all the time. And actually some of the men, listen up. I'd love to see you throwing a few more of these absolute queen bitch temper tantrums in the ring, please.
Yeah, seriously.
Agreed.
And Chris is super strong. Great. Jay White defeated Adam Page. I think they had a really robust feud and they got to face off a bunch of times in the ring before this on the mic. Is that right?
So I had this classic experience again of listening to Trish and Sarah before I got to watch like the pay-per-view. And as I was like half listening and all of a sudden Trish was like, and you know, it's malpractice that they didn't speak to each other once in this build. And I almost fell out of my chair. I was like, they never spoke to each other once? Not even once?
It's crazy.
Why would you do that?
I'm so confused about that. And even more confused because I think it again is, oh yeah, it's in a topic later too. But the fact that then the week we got back, Hangman came out for an in-ring promo, Jay White came out to face him in an in-ring promo, and it just was so, like, I just had a moment of being like, is everyone lying to us? Have they been doing this all month and you're doing a joke on us that this wasn't happening? Or somehow Tony was just like, oh, the girls will want to see that, so let's just keep that. Let's keep that back for the end of the month. We'll bring that out for the girls.
Just hold off. Yeah. He knows who's important to be seeing this stuff.
We've always been considered the core demo, and we're always getting core demo.
Everyone caters to us.
Yeah. Crazy. A little crazy.
Yeah. This match was kind of surprisingly unhorny.
I
was
wasn't horny. I was closer to bored than horny.
Yeah. Which is bizarre.
Well, they just weren't,
Maybe if they'd been allowed to speak to each other, they would have gotten a little hornier for each other.
Maybe. I don't know. It was perfectly serviceable, I think. And then Hangman lost, and he was really mad about losing. And then he took it out on Vice Principal Christopher Daniels, which you really shouldn't beat up a vice principal.
No. He barely gets paid anything. Let him.
So true. It's like, he doesn't set these policies.
That man is barely making enough to cover gas. Like, what are we doing here?
No power, no money. We'll circle back on these two in a little bit too. Okay, Kyle Fletcher fought Will Ospreay and won. They did have an in-ring promo battle to set this up, although I haven't seen it. Ospreay, it must not have gone well because Ospreay looked really depressed when he came out for this match, which I love.
Yeah.
He hadn't quite gotten to like looking like he might cry in a bathroom, so I thought he could have gone further, but perhaps as time wears on. This match was very good for me. They did some really big moves. They looked really good. Kyle Fletcher's body, it's not the same as it's always been.
No, it can't have been, because I always thought like that, like Mark Davis was like juicy and like curved, and Fletcher was like lanky. But when I was looking at him, I was like, he's kind of large. He's large,
huge.
He looked really big. Large. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think there's probably a thing happening where it's like relative sizes of men. So beside Mark Davis, he probably looks lankier than beside Will Ospreay. But nonetheless, I think there has been quite a transformation. It looks like he's put on a lot of mass. Who knows how? Who knows how? Probably naturally.
Yeah.
Look, that's not for us to know. However he's done it, I think he's looking good. It looks pretty normal.
It does.
Yeah, he doesn't look scary. He looks good.
He's no Brian Cage.
No Brian Cage. Who is thankful for how jacked he is and how much he looks like a pro wrestler. And he was the standout in that Instagram video that AEW did, and I don't know why more people aren't talking about it.
he was both incredibly funny, and it was funny for him to be saying it in that moment, which was maybe the first time I've looked at Brian Cage and his body and thought, you're looking cute right now. Because he hadn't been, whatever they do, like dehydrating himself to make his muscles pop. So he looked a little more normal, and he hadn't done his hair in that horrible thing he sometimes does. So it looked really, it's like, if I met you, I would just say, what a nice man. But I should have known. We've always loved Brian Cage, our son. Of course. So I shouldn't be surprised. Do you want to talk about Mark Davis coming out at the end of this Fletcher Ospreay match?
He was just wearing a winter coat, which was surprising.
I'm obsessed with it.
The vibe was that, like, he was coming out of the dressing room because he wanted to go outside to the loading dock and smoke a cigarette really quick. And Tony was like, Mark, you're on now. And Mark was like, fuck. Well, it's fine. I'll just go out like this. And his pack of cigarettes is still in his pocket. And he's just like, can we hurry this along?
It was so funny. I don't really understand what has been going on with him sartorially throughout. I mean, I haven't seen him since he came back, but that time he came in pajamas. This time he came in his outdoor clothes.
I've really discovered that I don't recognize Mark Davis if I can't see his butt highlighted. So, like, I think the first time I literally, like, I was like, there's some new man. Like, what's happening? And then one of you was like, oh, Mark Davis is doing something. I was like, oh, and I didn't point that out.
To be honest, I also, like, had an experience, I think with the winter coat one, where I was like, did a fan rush the stage?
I am, because of his butt highlighted, I'm just imagining now Mark Davis in one of his streetwear outfits, but it's a t-shirt, and on the back it says, I'm with her, and there's an arrow,
down arrow.
They should make those. Do they not? They should.
I don't know. They may. I haven't seen one in the wild.
Maybe we'll talk to Chop Tease about it.
Yeah, we can get a little tunnel time branded. I'm with her down arrow shirt.
Oh, wow, girls. We came back. Vacation has healed these minds and filled them with new ideas. Okay. Daniel Garcia fought Jack Perry for the TNT belt. And he won. So he won the title. So he has a title now. My understanding is that these two spent the month fumblingly trying to invent BDSM with mixed results. That was what was reported to us. And then I watched the videos myself, and I thought, yeah, that's right. They're both
accurate description
in the idea of BDSM, but a little confused by the reality. These were otherworldly. And actually, I think, okay, one thing I felt that I had heard is that Daniel Garcia kidnapped JB and took him to a warehouse, and everyone was like, it was a good idea, but then he kind of didn't know what to do from there. Like, kind of saying that like a criticism, and I'm like, character-wise, this checks out. This all checks out for me. That he got him all tied up there, and then when he started to think, like, what do you do with someone who's tied up? He got nervous because he was like, fuck, this isn't quite what I was maybe envisioning. And actually a little bit, JB's face was like, yeah, maybe you didn't think this all the way through, how erotic this was going to be, and your dad's here. Maybe you should have thought about that a little more.
It was like he thought, I'll tie him up and then he'll crack. Like, that'll be the end of it. And then when he didn't crack, it was like, oh, no, what now?
What, so I'm supposed to hurt him?
Just hurt him while he's tied up?
I thought that kind of made sense for Danny Garcia's character. I don't know if I can justify that, but he's just a baby.
And he does this voice when he's trying to be a tough guy that's kind of has like a little like tough guy accent, and it's like, what are you doing? Which I enjoy, to be clear.
Of course. But it's very, again, this is a little puppy. Mm-hmm. And he's just trying to ape things he's seen bigger dogs do.
Yeah. It's like, are you being a 1940s gangster right now? Like, what's happening?
I also did appreciate when this originally aired, we got tagged in it on Twitter and Blue Sky and I think on Discord too. But like everybody's like descriptions of what were happening was so intriguing. Where they were like, Tunnel Talk needs to come back and review the Yowie dungeon. And I was like, what? Excuse me.
And it really did not disappoint. The other thing that was going on, and there's just a lot of ways to think about these promos. In the dungeon one, I thought in the back half of it, JB was acting really normal, but in the front half, he had just suddenly slipped. Like, he's been, for me, a pretty convincing heel, but he became less convincing, and he kind of slipped into this territory like it's just like, this is a really sweet boy who's equally sweet boyfriend said, I want to experiment with role play. And he was like, okay, I'll try. And he just had this expression and note in his voice of like, and he said he wants me to be mean. So I'm going to do my very, very best, but I'm not sure how it's going. Is this what you need?
And his dad was there.
And his dad was Danny, you just shouldn't be bringing your dad to these
Did you watch the part where JB kidnapped Matt and Nora? Because it was like, I actually didn't watch the kidnapping, but then like after the match, Daniel Garcia like comes over to commentary and Tony Schiavone is like, I don't know if you saw, but like he kidnapped Daddy Magic, which was such a funny vibe from commentary. Where it was like, I mean, we had to keep doing our job. Obviously, we couldn't stop the kidnapping because we were busy commentating.
Well,
but
yeah,
just
we
like
didn't like
FYI.
call anybody, but we did think you should know. Yeah, no, I watched that as well, and I also appreciated that while it was happening, Excalibur said in the exact same voice that he's done for Darby, "That's his best friend." It's like that's his biological father, but okay.
Do you think that Sting's not my dad, he's my best friend is like the number one AEW quote of all time? Because I think I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to like pull out other top quotes and like do a bracket,
sure.
I think, but I can't think of any other contenders really.
I wish there were a way to remember them all.
Yeah. It is up there with like Andrade's half of the speech. You know, like how you know.
I tried to find recently the exact promo where Andrade was like, he owns you or whatever about Darby, and I couldn't find it. I found one that I was like, I would have said it was in this, but it's not, so there must be another one.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway.
We should do a bracket, actually. That would be
fun, yeah.
Maybe we should ask people to submit quotes they remember, and then we could do a little thing. Make us something. Huh?
Yeah, then we could seed them. Set up a whole March Madness thing.
I would love to see the bracket.
Your Connie personality's coming back in
Oh
force.
yeah, I'm ready for some math.
I love Connie. Okay, and then the only other thing I have here is just that we do know JB has a match for Wrestle Dynasty, and so do the Bucks, and so does Kenny, and they'll all be at Wrestle Dynasty. And I've said here, maybe it's illegal to wear shirts while wrestling in Japan. That would be cool. So if anyone has the line on that,
thoughts and prayers.
Just let us know. Are they allowed to be bare chested? Are they required to be bare chested? Yeah. We'd like to know about that. Takeshita fought Ricochet and won, and everyone's mad at Ricochet now since we were gone, I think.
Yeah.
Everyone seems really like annoyed with him.
People are not happy with this match or his Dynamite match.
Well, they're just doing like the very classic, like incredibly mean thing where they're like, well, he's useless as a person and probably should be killed. I think he should be taken out back and shot.
Washed, yeah.
It really bums me out. Well, maybe we'll circle back on this because he's going to come up in a minute anyway, and I have something more to say about that as well. So we'll just circle back on the washedness. Bobby Lashley defeated Swerve at the pay-per-view. We had just met Bobby in his leather suit, but we had not seen him do his thing in the ring when we left. I don't like him as much as I like Shelty.
No. It was fine, but he was no Shelton Benjamin.
He's no Shelton
Benjamin.
I'm shocked to learn that I think Bobby Lashley is supposed to be the senior member of the duo, which I don't think that's right. I think Shelton is the obvious star.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What do you mean? You meant like he is like the bigger deal.
Yeah.
I thought it was an age thing again. I was like, what? How old is he? 60? 65? I bet.
Oh yeah, no, they're both silver sneakers, but I just think that Shelton Benjamin should be like the guy, and Bobby Lashley can stand behind him.
I can't believe that we that one time were like, Shelton Benjamin did amazing wrestling last night. And then I guess everyone else was like, no, he certainly didn't. And it's like, I don't know. If he got our attention, he did something. That's all I can tell you. If we liked it, something interesting happened. Because you know we're not paying that much attention to anybody's wrestling.
If we watched a wrestling match from bell to bell without like any like sexuality to it, then give them an award. Like,
not
horny at all. We just
we just enjoyed the wrestling. It's crazy.
Come on. Okay. And then this is the final Full Gear match. Jon Moxley fought Orange Cassidy and won, retaining the AEW Men's World Championship belt. And we're women now. And we're finally women.
Wow.
Woo.
Wow.
This one really worked for me. I'll say that.
Did everything. It did everything I could have asked it to do, and quite a few things I could never have imagined asking for.
No, I think I thought it would be horny, but it was like 10 times hornier than I ever could have thought. Orange Cassidy was so mad right out of the gate.
Mad.
He was bleeding right out of the gate. The blood got everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah. Yeah, and it's like, you wouldn't think that Mox and Orange Cassidy could have the chemistry that they do, but really, they are just electric with how they touch each other.
Yeah, and OC hasn't had really sexual matches with a ton of people. It's like Mox and Zack Sabre Jr., so that's rarefied air.
It's not his preference. If he can help it, he won't have a super horny match. But I don't think he can help it with Mox. And he bled so much, and then he just kept doing his thing where he's like about to fall over, and he's still being like, "Come here, come at me." Okay, little karate kid.
When he dazed would do the "come at me" motion, it was like, whoo.
Yeah.
I
was sitting up. I'll say that for free.
Yeah, Leah almost went to quote unquote watch the match in her bed before it started.
It is
in a way. We kind of all ended up watching the match in our beds, did we not?
In a way.
The last couple of pay-per-views, I've done this thing where I'm like, well, I might as well get comfy. I mean, it's not illegal to be comfy for the last match. And I get it, I fall asleep and I don't watch the rest of the match. And you know what? I wouldn't have fallen asleep if I did take to my bed, but I'm very glad to have been sitting straight up.
It's difficult that in wrestling, the main event always happens last because, gosh, you're tired then. But
yeah.
We were tired as this started, but we were extremely awake by the time.
I believe I was awake for at least 2 hours after, too, because I had to come down.
Kept you up. So OC lost, and then there was a whole post-match melee situation where Mox and Yuta were torturing OC, according to Manolo. This is all according to Manolo. Thank you, Manolo, my love. Tortured him by pouring disinfectant on his wounds. Hangman ran out to hit Yuta. Now, let me pause here. Are we aware of any issue they have with each other?
I don't think so.
Do you think that happened while we were gone? Or do you think there's
Hangman's
no precedent?
working for Christian.
I think Hangman's working for Christian, yeah.
He's working for him?
I think it sounded like, from Dynamite, on second watch, that he and Christian made a deal where he would help Christian, and then Christian would get the belt, and then he would let Hangman have a shot at it.
Now, why did Christian want Yuta got?
Because
he's a Death Rider?
going after Moxley.
He's going after Mox,
I guess.
Well, I don't know about that. Okay,
I don't know that this all. I don't know that I feel fully clear on everyone's motivations.
I don't know that I believe in Hangman making that deal. I don't know that I buy that.
It's a little bit odd, for sure. But he claims on Dynamite that he really cares about the belt, so.
Okay. Well, look, so then Christian does come out, and he's beating up Mox, and he wants to cash in his title shot contract, but then Jay White ran in to mess with Christian. I think that does add up. I think that was set up in some way that I actually don't really understand, but because they had the beef during last year's Connie. No, during the tournament in the spring. I'm not getting any faces from my co-hosts.
Allie, you know we don't know. It could have happened at any time.
Just lie to me. Just be like, oh, yes, that must be. My God. Fine, whatever. And then Mox and the Death Riders go to the parking lot, and then Darby drove a car into them because he's been mad at them this whole time. And some said, why would he do that? That's so stupid. Yes, because he's so stupid, and he always has been. And he is sublimely dumb on my TV every single week, and he always has been.
Yeah, saying, why would he do that? That's so dumb. It's like, well, you just answered your question. Was that rhetorical?
Yeah. because he's actually a genius about his character. Who is him? Who is stupid?
So stupid.
He has no impulse control and no fear of death.
And he loves to drive cars into things. That's his number one favorite activity.
That's his Molotov cocktail. He's just like, should I drive a car into it? Everyone's like, well, I guess then we would have a different problem. I guess go ahead.
I think I saw someone on Twitter being like, and Dave Meltzer said that was really Darby driving the car. And I was like, I'd never in a million years doubted that. At no point did I think that was a stunt driver. Darby would not have allowed it.
Yeah, they'd have to tie him down, and then you can't get him untied fast enough to run out of the car, So, of course, they had to let him.
If you see a Darby angle where a car's being driven into something, you have to immediately be like, this is a little kibble bit that he got given as a treat to get him to do something he didn't want to do. Tony was like, but you can drive a car into something. And Darby said, okay, Mr. Tony, give me the kibble. Give me the
Tony's like, I need you to do press and a photo shoot. And Darby's like, I fucking won't. It's like, you get to drive a car.
You get to drive a car. Okay. My God, why did Manolo say, Mamma Mia? So much to absorb in that
I was so glad you put all these in here because it's like, well, I miss this man's insane prose.
I love him. I swear to God, he just while we were gone, got a new tagline on Cage Side Seats that says, Manolo has learned all of life's lessons from decades of professional wrestling. Troubling. Manolo has been covering the sport for over 10 years on Cage Side Seats. My goodness. And the things you still say that are so crazy.
Still crazy after all these years.
Amen. Leah, what's the thought that you have about first defenses?
It's fine, but I saw a lot of people criticizing a lot of the beats in this, and we didn't see an entire month, so it's possible that they're right, but having no knowledge of a lot of what they were complaining about, it seemed like a lot of people were it was really hard to get invested in this because you knew that OC wasn't going to win, and I was like, yeah, but the first defense, they're never going to win, so you have to either decide that you're going to engage with the story or you're not, because wrestling is fake, and so the first defender is not gonna win. I don't know.
Yeah,
it is being most of wrestling is they're not gonna win. They, statistically, they rarely win.
It's kind of being I couldn't be very invested because I knew there was an hour left of movie yet and it wasn't going to end. And it's well, I don't know what to tell you.
It just kept being hard. When I kept reading on Twitter, people complaining about how this was going. And I was just so what you're mad about is that you have lost the ability to suspend your disbelief and embrace childlike wonder.
God, which I am mad about often, actually. So in that sense, relatable, but you can't take it out on the product.
It's not Tony's fault that you can't clap for Tinkerbell, my friend.
Yeah, it's interesting. This is the one, I mean, I'm sure there are others, but this is one of the storylines that I really do wish that I had gotten to see week to week so that I could really assess what was going on with the Death Rider stuff, because I went and I watched the angle before the pay-per-view where the full what they're called, the Death Riders, they duct taped him all up and they kicked him around like a little kickball between them, and I got the impression that some thought, they've been much more violent than this before. This is a little come down. And I thought, not for me. This for me, I'm like, this is basically exactly the angle that got me into wrestling in the first place. This is when I watched Mimosa Mayhem and all of Chris Jericho's henchmen were popping bottles all over this guy's body, which isn't something that can hurt you at all, actually. That's what got me into wrestling. So, speaking of still crazy after all these years, did it just fine for me.
Yeah, fun to watch OC have that happen to him.
Very good way of putting it in.
I just remembered how many times during that match we said, how is it possible that Jon Moxley is running a train on OC all by himself?
By himself, a one-man gangbang, yeah.
On a podcast where we once weren't allowed to say
Yeah, Leah brought that up.
But look, what can you say? You're right. It was, Mox was so many men. And OC kept saying, thank you, I'll have another. Thank you, I will have another. All right. Well, we're continuing this discussion. Let's just fan ourselves a little. We're continuing this discussion immediately because, of course, Mox still has this title, and so we're beginning to, the angle at the end of the pay-per-view, of course, was setting up the next match we will get, which is how wrestling works. There's always another match we're getting set up.
So true.
Do you think this is really good podcasting? I sound pretty smart. So Hangman, Christian, Jay White, all in the mix. Hangman, as I mentioned earlier, came out on Dynamite to give a live promo where I think he said he'll fight Christopher Daniels, the vice principal. Crazy. And yes, here, as for Full Gear, I made a deal and I kept up my end of the deal. Christian, if you kept up your end of the deal, I'd be back in town tomorrow with the world championship around my waist, but you failed, Christian. Failed? So was Christian going to give him his shot? That's not something he failed at. It's something he failed to do.
Yeah, I don't fully follow the logic of a lot of this.
No, we're definitely missing some part of the Christian thing.
I guess so. Yeah, maybe it was, we don't know. Maybe this was explained. Maybe this is all explained
They should
somewhere.
put it in a video package.
Yeah, a little video package
give
for
us a
the
little
casuals.
I'm just hearing I'm just a casual viewer. I'm just a little guy. Hey, come on. I'm just a casual viewer. All right. Okay. Then Jay White interrupted, and then he was talking about how Hangman losing to him over and over again, and then how he could fight him again if Hangman wanted to, which I don't know. They don't seem to have talked before, so it's strange.
It's crazy to me. I am not opposed to Hangman having a an enemy that he literally cannot beat. That's fun to me. The fact that Jay White is just Hangman is so straightforward and black and white. Whether he's good or whether he's bad, he's a blunt instrument. And Jay White is so sneaky and snaky that no matter if Jay White is a heel or face, he just seems to eel out of anything Hangman throws at him, and so Hangman can't beat him. That's fun.
Yeah.
I don't think that they're taking full advantage of this situation. They've referenced that Hangman has never beat Jay White, but not in a way that's and this says something about Hangman, you know what I mean?
I don't know. This is the thing he can't counter in Jay White.
Yeah, and I think that they really could be capitalizing on this. And if they're I feel like people are discussing whether or not Hangman might be making a face turn. They could be using things like this to feed that, but they're just, for some reason, and I can't figure out why, because I like Jay White and obviously I love Hangman, but all of this feud that we saw really seems like passable work at best.
Yeah. Get degrees.
It's really bizarre because it is I feel like Hangman can make a meal out of almost anything, and I'd watch him and Swerve fight 1,000 times, but when we're bringing out more Jay White stuff, I'm still this falls flat for me every time it happens, and
I do think it's right that as far as we've seen, they haven't brought any like interesting characterizations into it, because like unfortunately I'm like I still don't fully understand Jay White as a character. Like I know the versions of him that I've really liked, like last year when he was in the Connie and he was on the edge of losing his mind and frothing at the mouth a lot. I was going crazy for that.
Yeah.
It's interesting if I knew more about Jay White to know if this is true, but like based on some stuff he's done, like sometimes he has an energy of like he's so insane that he almost can't imagine that he could ever lose. And like that's, you know, his variety of psychosis, which is interestingly oppositional to Hangman's shit of like he can always imagine himself losing and sometimes loses because of that, because he had, you know, the anxiety. So it's like those are two things that are interesting to put in relation to each other, and it is something that like you could see a Hangman character struggling with in feuds with Jay White, where he's like, I look at you and you just don't, you can't imagine that you could lose to me, so it's so easy for me to imagine me losing to you. I don't know if that made sense.
No,
anyway, but that's not what's
totally
happening. But that would be something. That
It
would
would
be
be
something.
something. That's the thing about, like, we've seen feuds where we're like, oh, there was no there. Like, sorry, we just got to move on. There's actually a lot here. Like, there's a lot on the table that we're just, for some reason, not using.
Yeah, and they allegedly have all this history, too. And I know people that are, like, very invested in them. And it's like, it's just really not working, confusingly.
And who knows why? Well, I guess we'll see. I think the expectation is probably that there'll be a 4-way at World's End. That'll be Hangman, Jay White, Christian, and Mox. Oh, there's some more. None of this matters, right? Oh, no, just that Jay White got beat up. Okay. I don't know. And so, but will that be Christian's cash in? How does he cash in?
I don't know.
What's
I
the
think he has
mechanism
to.
of cashing?
Does someone have to sign something? Because Kip was stealing his pen all those times. I don't really
But
understand.
this week, did he not? No, he didn't sign it. Did he not sign it this week?
I think, did the briefcase get taken away and
my
used to
God.
smash somebody, or was it a different briefcase?
Well, I don't know why the comedy of this has just now hit me, where it's like, wait, is there some physical thing he has to do to initiate the match that he can't do? You can't just be like, I'd like my
cash
match
it in.
now.
Yeah. Right. I kind of thought it was just a I declare bankruptcy situation, but
Wow, bureaucracy strikes again. Well, I guess that is pretty silly. That's a little silly. So we don't know if this would count as Christian's cash-in. But we also don't know this match is happening. I guess something else could happen, so.
right, hypothetically.
Well, we've just got these...
All these in the knowers have known for a while and have been really mad about it, so I assume it is happening.
The in the knowers know, and when we look and we see the 4 men and it, you know, kind of a tight...
Yeah, it does.
Interlocked.
Everything does line up. Yeah.
Everything, the pieces are all added up. Do you guys have strong feelings for or against the Hangman face turn?
I don't know. This is going to sound incredibly petty, but I have hated everybody who's been so mean about Hangman's heel turn in that, like, they just straight up been like, I refuse to support it on the principle that I don't believe that Hangman is capable of doing wrong. And I'm like, okay, well, you're denying his capability as artist, and that's pissing me off. But I also at this point, I'm like, well, they're not really him as a heel has been like up and down, and also there's like a ton of heels now, so maybe I am in the mood to see him start a righteous struggle. But
I think I would have liked him to be able to kind of do the heel thing like a little more fully, and you know, kind of like play it out as a full storyline, where it's like if he face turns now, it's a little undercut, but it's like he's been so undercut by the whole Death Riders thing and everything, you know, by Mox kind of politicking his way into the belt and stuff, that it's like, well, I might as well just face turn and have like a little more space to operate.
Yeah. And I think for me, this like really like angry, out of control Hangman has diminishing returns if you're not getting any like promos or interactions where you can see some part of him wrestling with it and the other part of him being like, nope, this is just who we are now. We're monsters now. So like, and shoving the good parts of him back down. Like, I need to see that play out a little bit for this to stay interesting for me. So I had the thought whenever we saw him, it might have been Full Gear or Dynamite. As I was watching, I was like, God, I wish I miss watching this man look openly self-loathing and like he's about to burst into tears. I've got to see this man on the verge of tears again. True. And if he face turns, I will. So for me, that's a pretty big,
pretty big motivator.
Yeah.
I understand that BT was a ton of work and with diminishing returns, and everybody was tired of doing it and they ran out of stuff. But I'm like, the level to which the Hangman heel turn would have been augmented on BTE so well, and we would have no complaints, because I know all of the ways that we have felt short shrifted would be rectified on BTE. I know.
It was, we've said it many times before, it was such a good storytelling tool. And actually, you guys know that I was just looking up some like old quotes from our group chat from back when we started watching wrestling, and it's really sweet that we had a BTE thread every week where we'd all be like really getting into like, oh my God, but what do you think that means for like X storyline? Like, not even just about the Bucks and Hangman, but about like everyone. And I really was like, oh man, that was for us. That was the thing that made us be like, wrestling is accessible and can tell stories. And now more often, sometimes I'm like, can't wrestling even tell a good story? Maybe not.
I know. I was also, when you pulled some of those clips, I was like, I remembered that Leah had watched all of BTE really quickly, but I didn't realize it was in 11 days. That was a little troubling.
Okay, I didn't watch all of BTE in 11 days.
You said 173 episodes?
I mean, it was
they are 20 minutes.
Yeah, but still, that's a lot of BTE in a very short amount of time. And I believe the quotation that we had is you saying, "Is Matt Jackson a comedy genius?" I'm starting to think yes, but maybe those are just the deranged ramblings of a woman who watched 180 episodes of BTE in 11 days. And that's the source of your brainworms.
It's so funny to remember that I watched BTE so that I could find more times that Dustin Chuck Taylor was in the background.
So you could clip them for us. I think you clipped every background
all of
scene of OC and Dustin.
And somehow consuming that much BTE gave me irreversible brain damage that I'm still coping with to this day.
PSA. This is not safe for human consumption. One episode a week. That's all that's
all you can do. Otherwise, you just can't stop buying Young Bucks merch in order to support them.
I just wanted to have a little walking around money. I like the product. Well, I think that BTE would be very helpful for Hangman these days, but we don't have it, and I think he better face turn, probably. So, and he'll do a good job at it, and I think it might be. It's easier to if you're just openly communicating like I'm conflicted about everything I do. That's easier than being like one part of me has mostly taken over. So.
Hey, it is Ryan Seacrest. There's something so thrilling about playing Chumba Casino. Maybe it's the simple reminder that with a little luck, anything is possible. ChumbaCasino.com has hundreds of social casino-style games to choose from with new game releases each week. Play for free anytime, anywhere for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
It's AutoNation's Black Friday used car sales event. Now through Sunday only. Take advantage of reduced prices on thousands of used cars, trucks, and SUVs. All makes, all models on sale. Domestics, imports, luxury, on sale. This is one Black Friday used car sales event you can't afford to miss. Hurry to the AutoNation store near you today or shop now at AutoNation.com. Okay.
Girls, are you ready? We've been waiting all year long. It's Connie season! in. Sports is back.
The most wonderful time of the year.
It's so nice that Tony waited for us.
So
I
nice.
can't get over it.
Just perfect.
Although we didn't reward him really because he had that special Tony. I guess Tony after Full Gear was like, "I'll be putting up the Connie announcement tomorrow or something. I don't know." And then he just did it until like midnight. Is that a really good story that I just anyway, then he didn't watch it was the end of the story. I don't think any of us went back and watched it.
No.
I wonder what it was like. We do know the leagues.
It's too bad there's no way of knowing.
There's no way of knowing.
The thing is, like, the Connie is so important to me that I am like legitimately like they should be putting this like as like a special, like instead of a battle of the belts, they should like have a half an hour special where they like release that. There should be pomp and circumstance. I agree. They should bring the Costco guys to do the announcement.
Oh, God,
like,
yes.
Everybody should be in ball gowns. Like I really think it should be a thing. And instead, it was like I actually don't know because I didn't watch it. But he announced that the YouTube video would be available at 10:30 at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. He said in 2.5 hours I'm going to put it on YouTube. And
he was just finishing editing it right that second. Yeah, it is very funny for us to be like, really wish there was more pomp and circumstance. I didn't watch it, but
he didn't set it up right, and no one made it clear to me. This is the thing. I'm like, I think that they should have to be there in person, like responding to getting picked for the Connie. Because
that's how they do it.
Like, how are they getting picked?
In New Japan, they do it as a big thing where they're all dressed up and come out.
I think
I wish we went to New Japan.
I think all of the wrestlers should be in suits and they should be sitting in the crowd.
I think ball gowns was a better idea from you first, but
ball gowns. And I think like their partners and kids should be in the audience too, and like they're holding hands, like waiting, and it's like the first participant in the Connie will be Daniel Garcia, and then like it cuts and it's like cuts to Jay White, and he's got like that fake happy face where he's just kind of like
Daniel Garcia's
disappointed
crying.
too, and so and then Danny gets up, and then he has to stand there and like behind Tony and like be like wait normally as Tony's like the second participant, and by then we get all of the contestants on stage and everybody like claps for them. That's what I would like to watch.
I would like to watch it too. I love the picture you just painted. That's the kind of spectacle that I would like to see. Well, maybe it happened in this video we didn't watch, I guess. Anyway, the Blue League, the men are Shelton Benjamin, Kyle Fletcher, Danny Garcia, the Beast Mortos, Kazuchika Okada, and Mark Briscoe. The Gold League, we have Darby Allin, Claudio Castagnoli, Brody King, Will Ospreay, Ricochet, and Juice Robinson. How many of these are the same men from last year? I was trying to figure this out. Kyle?
I thought you were just going to say, how many of these men are the same men? They're pretty different.
We got to get our brains checked out. We really didn't come back from vacation, right?
A lot of these men are new to AEW, actually.
Yeah.
But like Daniel
was
Garcia
in it last year. Mark Briscoe was in it last year. Claudio
was Kyle Fletcher? No.
No.
Claudio and Brody.
Yeah.
That's gotta be it. I think that's it.
Now, girls, I saw a bunch of people saying, and this might be a New Japan thing, that there should have been continuity, that the guys who came in the finals last year should have automatically been in this year. I don't want that because I want new men.
I was actually, the reason that I brought up how many of these are the same men from last year is that I've been having a spirited internal debate with myself about whether it's acceptable for any of the men to be the same. And I had to talk myself down and be like, well, the top guys do stay the same, in large part from year to year. So I guess it's not unreasonable that they could participate in the tournament multiple years in a row. But I was fighting myself. Like, I was just like, I don't want to see those old men. I already saw those men. I want to see new men, and I want to learn about their psychological issues.
It's a little bit like you're a kid and your parent wrapped up some of your old toys for you as their new presents, which
I already had Mark.
My middle brother and I, our birthdays are like one day apart, and then my youngest brother is like 3 years younger, and his birthday's like in June. So he, like, when he was like 2 and 3, like, we would get all our presents because our birthdays were 2 days, right back to back, and my mom would wrap old toys for him, so he had something to unwrap too.
Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah, but that is what it's like. It's just like, you gave me this last year. Did you think I forgot? And Tony's like, yeah, you forget everything. Why on earth would you remember this?
And you say, but not the Connie.
I remember everything about the Connie.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh yeah. So let's go. Oh no, I wanted us to stay up front. Okay, so I was watching Dynamite this week. We have our 3 Connie matches. I liked them just fine. I was having a really nice time. But in match, when we started, as we were moving into Brody Darby, before the fun thing where the commentary sound got cut out, I was like, okay, I am having fun, but like I do remember the Connie like electrifying me a little more than this. So is something going wrong here? Like, is it bad? Is the Connie bad? And then I was like, no. It was like this last year too. We have to get that first batch of post-match promos where you start to understand what's going on in these men's complicated minds, and then that's when it starts to hit like crack.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's because I think we were not impressed with the Connie at first, and it was only when the promos came in that we were like, guys, are we sports girls?
Are we Connie heads?
Right. And even like the first few weeks, your storylines are still starting to take form. So they're still pretty nascent. But honestly, like when I watched all of these backstage ones, it was hitting like crack. I was like, like wrestling should be Shakespearean monologues about people's inner lives. Like Claudio did a great one. I mean, we'll talk about them, but I was like impressed with people that I'm normally not like super impressed with their character work, which is fantastic.
I agree. We got something new from these guys, and I just keep thinking to myself with a little frisson, like, and the storylines will start soon. Soon we'll start to see those storylines kicking, and some of them we could anticipate, but not all of them. Tony, are you listening? Some of the storylines we shouldn't have been able to anticipate. Okay, let's talk
Remember Danielson and Eddie and how good that was?
Oh my God.
Eddie and the Connie.
And
I miss him.
As the storylines start to develop, Tony, they should spill out of the Connie. When the men are saying Shakespearean things that they are reliving in their bones, that should be allowed to play out for the rest of the year. If somebody looks like maybe they're having a face turn or having some disagreement with their faction, things should be allowed to move past the Connie. Because some of the people that were showing brilliance inside last year's Connie then disappeared.
Tony, I want you to think to yourself, no Connie is an island. Okay?
Yes.
The Connie must be connected to the mainland, at the very least by a bridge of some sort.
And there's really no reason that there couldn't be social media, Shakespearean monologues during non-Connie season as well.
Absolutely. We could do these anytime. They take so little. They're a minute long. In a minute, you do some of the best work of the year just by letting a man who's all sweaty and his brain is kind of like blissed out on the adrenaline of the ring say stuff. Just let that be. I think they let Brody get cleaned up before he did his, and I didn't like that. He seemed really under control, which I didn't approve of. I liked the promo, but I didn't approve of that.
And they should often be like sort of sneaking up on them in a hallway where they're sitting with their head in their hands. You know,
the vibe should be, this is an animal that crept away to die, and you have interrupted it and been like, no, film a promo instead. Okay, so thank you, Tony. I know you listen, and I know you'll take that into account, as you always do. Let's go match by match. Let's start. We have Shelton Benjamin versus Mark Briscoe. Now, there's really just one major topic here. The faction that I thought was known as the Hurt Business now has a new catchphrase that they must have created in our month of absence, where MVP says, we hurt people. And every time he says it, I think to myself, hurt people. And I burst into laughter, and I don't take it seriously at all.
You did that like fun, like you said that to us in our group chat, and immediately it invaded my like psyche enough that like when I was trying to remember what the faction was named, I typed the Hurt People.
I don't know what their name are. They
what a great faction name.
They're the
Syndicate.
Yeah.
Because
but I think they're the Hurt People.
The Hurt People.
I think the Hurt People is a great one because it works on so many levels. Because it's like they're hurt and they're hurting. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just so funny. Like, is that on purpose? Is it funny on purpose? Or
Sometimes in wrestling, it's so hard to know.
hurt people? I hope someone says that at some point, and thank you a lot. Shelton Benjamin he beat Mark Briscoe, and they both had post-match promos, which is what should happen. Every man should be required to give a post-match promo after every match. Agree or disagree?
Agreed. And I have
girls.
much to say about a missing one that we'll get into later.
Yeah.
But I think it's most important for the person who lost to give a promo.
Yes, you're right.
But they should both be giving a promo. And it's not acceptable to have your teammates do your homework for you.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. Because while we're Shelton Benjamin girls, okay? We love Shelty. But he did not say a word of his Connie promo. MVP did the whole thing. That is cheating.
That is cheating. There's it should be a law where it's no seconds at ringside, no seconds in promos either.
What if it starts with MVP doing all his promos for him and you can see him getting more and more unhappy in the background and then he sneaks away and has to do one about his sad hurt feelings away from MVP where the hurt people can't see him?
Okay, and I think you played in the space really nicely there. I will also say that it would be acceptable for me to have MVP giving Shelty's promos for him if, at the very least, the interviewer kept being like, Shelton, can we hear from you? Shelton, I'd love to hear how you're feeling. And we see Shelton being like, I won't say a word. That's not ideal for me. I'm not saying that it's the best case scenario, but at the very least, I think the expectation of the interviewer as well should be, I'm going to get a juicy scoop, emotional scoop out of the man himself.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right. Then second match we have here, Claudio versus Ricochet. Everyone was already mad at Ricochet, and this made them even madder. This match should not go over well.
No, the men were not happy.
They
said a lot of mean stuff.
What's he doing match-wise now that has everybody more upset with him?
I think people are saying that he's not playing to his strengths in wrestling and he's wrestling matches that don't fit with his agility and size. But
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
I'd love to understand that better.
Yeah, and he put the trunks back on, and the long boys back on, and people are again bringing up a possible knee brace under there.
Oh, I thought it was just going to be and
people hate
really
despise.
choice. They did not like that sartorial choice.
It'd be so funny if the IWC got mad at the same kinds of things that we did. Everyone's up in arms about the Bucks vests and Ricochet's long boys. I know. What a better world.
Maybe we can start a rumor that the Bucks are hiding something under the vest, and so then they'll have to take it off.
A rib brace under there?
In fact, I was talking to Anna and Josh the other day about the vests, and Anna just said, maybe there's a hole under there.
A hole? In his body?
Yes! I said, what on earth does that mean?
Like a wound or a piercing?
Know. I really couldn't.
Or just a straight hole all the way, you can see all the way through.
I don't know. I was imagining kind of like a Tony Stark arc reactor deal. That was what I came up with. I was like, that would kind of explain what's going on. But I couldn't pin her down on what she meant. She was like, something's just going on there.
So,
all right.
Do we need to go on Reddit and kind of seed some, be like, I heard a rumor that Nick Jackson has a arc reactor under his vest, and he's cheating at wrestling.
Oh, cheating! Oh, that's
and that's how you're going to get the men's interest.
Yeah, and then the Bucks haters will pick it up and they'll say, "Oh, you have to take off those vests because
we need to see those
reactor.
Unmarred chests.
If you don't show us those chests, we'll take you out of the Hall of Fame."
Can I ask a really stupid question?
Yeah.
As long as you know you might not get an answer, because we might not know.
The Hall of Fame is just like Dave's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
people act like it's I mean, I guess all Hall of Fames are kind of just
they're all
a
kind
guy,
of like
but,
this.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it didn't occur to me that there wasn't like a more official, like, you know.
It's just like if we started a Hall of Fame on this podcast and then people really respected this podcast, then that's what it would be. But that would... That's a real stretch goal for us.
I start the Hall of Fame now, and then the respect will come in time.
I think when people start to realize that the Mommy's Little Ham Awards really are quite distinguished.
The Mommy's Little Hall of Fame? Mommy's Little Ham Hall of Fame?
No, the Mommy's Little Hall of Fame was the hallowed halls of mommy. Okay, we think we must move on. You want to talk about the Claudio promo?
Yeah.
Wait, before we get off Ricochet, I just say, why the fuck didn't Ricochet give a fucking promo?
He really had to.
What?
Lazy.
He needed it. So bad. And
He needed the worst of it, anybody, probably.
Yeah, he's the person who most, needs the context of a story. If he fucking doesn't give a promo where he tells me what's going on in his mind, I will be using the mean terms.
Okay. Washed, cooked.
Now we can talk about Claudio.
Are you listening? Just give a little promo. We need to know where your head's at. And maybe you're upset because people are being a little mean to you, you know?
Use it. Use that.
Yeah, take those emotions you get while you read the internet and bring them into a sad little promo.
They better
and
go
that could go for a lot
good.
of you, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, but don't make it really obvious that you're responding to people
from
please
Twitter.
Don't.
Just take your sad feelings and make a sad fictional story for me.
Make it up, but the feelings could be real.
Yeah.
Claudio quoted A Star Is Born in his promo, and I thought that was really funny. That the way that he said, I was in a coffee shop this morning and I heard these lyrics from this song from A Star Is Born 2018, Bradley Cooper. And then he quoted them quite a bit. But actually, he was looking quite appealing to me. Like he was giving a little Hallmark movie lead. I don't know. Something snapped in me a little.
No, I thought this was some of his best work. There was something about the way he was delivering it that was very sort of sensitive and vulnerable in a way that I was confused by, but aroused by.
I agree. I would second that.
Speaking of Hallmark movies, did you guys know that Mr. Shu from Glee has done a Christmas Hallmark romance movie that's on Netflix, which is the only streaming service that my hotel TV had. So I watched it because I thought it was really funny that he was getting humiliated in this way, and it was really bad. He played a professional ballroom dancer.
He was the romantic lead?
Yes. He was playing a professional ballroom dancer, and it ends in a big dance number competition that would have suitably interjected at sort of like a mega church Christmas Eve service, I would say.
That sounds really fantastically bad.
I really had a great time. It was so terrible.
Have you guys been enjoying those? I almost called them promos. They're ads for the Chiefs Christmas Netflix movie, which you've seen the Hallmark Chiefs Hallmark, where you're like the Kansas City Chiefs. Like this is explicitly a Taylor Swift thing, which is it's really normal to take a big celebrity, love affair. God, why can't I speak right now? And then make a Hallmark movie based on it. That's normal, I think. But the fact that they're explicitly and it is the Chiefs is the part that I'm like, this is crazy. Can she do anything about this? Okay. Third Connie match of the night, Brody versus Darby. Thoughts on the match that did knock out sound for commentary for 10 minutes or something. It was amazing.
It was so funny. It's really unsettling to watch commentary with no one, or to watch wrestling with no one talking over it and just hear the little slaps and grunts,
Especially because you really could hear Darby's little moans of pain. I was this is one of those things where if someone walked in and be like, "Are you watching porn?"
Happening here?
No,
I just kept thinking pretty wholesomely, wow, and this is what it's like when you're in the arena. It's like we're getting that arena experience, but at home for a change. I liked this match fine. I don't need to see Brody and Darby fight as much as they do. Personally, for me, I'd watch other matches first.
I think I like Brody.
Unfortunately, this promo also got me liking Brody. Yeah, which I was unsettled by because I thought it was kind of a weird promo, but something about it, I don't know.
Because I loved it.
I have to say, Leah does look electrified. So, of course, when my co-host is doing whatever she's doing right now, I have to pay attention, but I didn't love it, Leah.
Brody and Darby do the thing where it's like, he just keeps like picking Darby up and throwing him into the dirt over and over and over again. And Darby gets more and more obviously turned on as it goes on. And it was that promo was so funny because the vibe was that like someone backstage took Brody aside and was like, listen, I know Darby's not going to say uncle, but you have to say it sometimes. Like, he's not going to stop you, but you should, like, you have a responsibility
unsafe,
too.
It's insane, and it's only dubiously consensual.
And so he came in kind of on the offensive where he's like, it's not my fault. It's his fault. He makes me do this stuff to him.
Like, we have a safe word. He's never used it.
He's like been experimenting to see if he could get him to use it, and he won't.
It's like, there are two people in this relationship, and I'm the only one who gets blamed for the things we do.
Well, maybe if they didn't do them in front of others. All right, look.
Do it in front of others. Do you remember that Ask a Manager where someone like introduced their partner as their master at work and told everyone at work that they needed to refer to him as her master, and everyone was like, I'm very uncomfortable.
Oh my God, that does kind of seem like it's the world of wrestling when you put it that way. All right. Okay. Look, I've been really annoyed with Darby for a long time. Not Darby. Sorry, Darby. You're just dumb and great at wrestling. You're fine. At Brody for a long time because of things that happened in the past. But if my co-hosts are saying we must lay down our weapons and find peace in our hearts and embrace this dubiously consensual dom-sub relationship, I listen. I listen when my co-hosts speak because I know that we share values. So I will work on softening my heart and embracing the things they do together in front of others.
In return, I do say to you, of course you were right to have hate in your heart because he has been very badly behaved in the past. Yeah, of course.
I didn't like things he did and said, but they weren't serious enough to hold them against him forever.
No, unfortunately, when I see men do sex, I have to pay attention.
Of course you do. Of course we all do. And
honestly, it should be an inspirational story for every man in this company that we hate. It doesn't really take that much to get us on board. The door is always open. Brian Cage, look at it.
You can make us like
examples.
You.
Yeah.
You can make us like you. You don't have to deal with the dealer. Okay. Anything else about Connie in general? I think we probably said it all. Oh, do you guys know what the rule change is? They started. Okay, good. Because I will say they explicitly were like, we have some rule changes this year. And I said, better focus up. And then next thing I knew, a match was happening.
Yeah.
I made Seth explain it to me in our Discord. It's like when it comes to the end, the winner of the Blue League fights the runner-up of the Gold League. And the winner of the Gold League fights the runner-up of the Blue League.
And then the winner of those goes on to the finals. So, like, last year, the semifinals were within the brackets. Like, the winner and runner-up had a eliminator match, I think. But this year, they're cross-bracketing the semifinals.
Wow. So is the cross-bracketing, or will those matches happen at World's End?
That I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. I think probably they would happen before. Well, I don't know. Maybe they are.
Well, I don't know. Okay, you don't know. You don't know. I don't know. None of us know. But do people think that's better? Don't know why I can't really think about this clearly.
I think it's a little bit better because it like mixes it up more because like everyone in every bracket are gonna like fight each other once. So then when you have the semifinal, it's like they get to fight somebody from the other bracket. So you have like cross bracket things.
So no one will fight each other twice.
One time. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Interesting.
Except maybe in the final, I guess.
Oh yeah, it could be in the final. Okay.
But it gets you 2 more cross bracket matches.
Oh right, because you could get a blue final.
You could, yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, I think that's interesting. Yeah. All right, I accept it. Nobody yell at me about my inability to visualize this stuff, please. All right, we have another ongoing tournament, the Dynasty Women's International Cup tournament, perhaps. And my understanding is that they're going to be having some kind of 4-way at Wrestle Dynasty that's between competitors from 4 different promotions. Is that right?
Well, that's the part I didn't understand, and so the promotions involved in Wrestle Dynasty are New Japan, Stardom, CMLL, and AEW. But New Japan is men only. So
where are they getting their women?
The 4th woman coming from?
Where is the woman coming from? I'm asking for their supplier.
It's
where do you get your women?
It should be Tanahashi.
In mom mode? Yeah.
I agree that this tournament is to determine who we send to summer camp, but I don't know where all of the women come from. Who gets one of the promotions must get to send 2, but I don't know.
Or maybe there's a promotion.
Maybe Stardom should get to send 2. I mean, that feels fair.
Maybe there's 4 promotions other than in JPW. 4 completely unique.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I'm worried I misunderstood something that was happening. Well, anyway, Jamie Hayter fought Queen Aminata this week in the tournament. I don't know if we know everyone who's in this. Actually, I think maybe some of this tournament has just already happened, and that's what's happening. And
some of it happened this week, right?
The Jamie Hayter versus Queen Aminata. But then there's some stuff like the semi. This is our worst segment yet. The semifinals. We didn't have that much happen on the show that we could grab onto. The semifinals are
Ring
happening
of Honor.
On Collision.
Ring of Honor is the 4th promotion.
Oh,
I just go to
nice.
the 4th.
Exactly. 4 other than NJPW. 4 unique promotions. And
I know that there's multiple people that are like, these fucking bitches.
we're back, baby.
Okay.
Fumbling our way towards having to Google things on the air.
So there's only 4 total. Wait a minute.
Participants.
Yeah, there's
from
only
AEW?
4 total people that are
very
trying out for our spot. So it's Jamie and
like no
Queen
one.
Aminata, which we saw.
It's a one-sided bracket. It's one of these tournaments where you're like, well, that's barely a tournament, but okay.
And then Serena and Willow are wrestling at Collision tomorrow. And then whoever wins of that match will fight Jamie at Winter is Coming. And whoever wins of that match is our representative at summer camp.
Oh, gosh, I hope it's Serena Deeb.
I'm so disappointed to read her name. Every time I see it, I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, but you still go here? What do we have to do? And you won't do anything fun or cool? Is she still a face? No. Maybe she... Well, we don't know. Look, we don't know. Anyway, look, the thing that happened is that Jamie Hayter and Queen Aminata had a really fun match. I really enjoyed it. And then at the end, the lights went out and Jamie was like, Julia Hart, you're fucking with me. But then she didn't show up. And there have been 3 Julia Hart art films. I guess she got a little of the budget. She and JB are splitting the budget. Darby's getting nothing. And
did you see that someone said she wrote and produced and directed all of those?
Good for her.
Those were
great.
So good.
They looked really good, yeah. She's been so good at the aesthetic. Remember when she was the cheerleader? It's wild now.
Well, that's when I was watching those short films where she was the cheerleader again and was murdering herself. I was fucking losing it.
Oh, I didn't I'll be honest, I didn't watch them. I just
Oh my
watched
God,
a tiny
they're
bit.
so good.
Yeah,
they're
they
so
really-
good. She was confronting her old self, and it was so creepy and ominous.
Her in
That's great.
in the bleachers, and like that she got that hat with the colored glass, and so she's tilting up, and it was just like, wow, you are so like cool and confident, like aesthetically. I just really felt pretty impressed with it.
Yeah, me too.
So anyway, someone's gonna win this, and Julia Hart is coming back. I think that's all we got here. Seem right?
Seems right.
Okay. Also at Full Gear, Mariah May finally had her belt celebration because Mina was able to make it at long last, but the segment ended with Mariah turning on Mina and trying to bash her over the head, and they got into a big brawl. And then this week on Dynamite, Mina sat down with Renee to be like, this is, I love her, but classic. I think something along those lines. Like she would.
The vibe was very much like, I listen, when you fuck around with crazy bitches, crazy shit happens to you. Yes, the pussy is great. But you have to accept that this kind of shit happens.
She's like, I
She
love
was
to play with
literally
fire
like-
and I love to get burned.
Yeah. She's like, if she could do it to Tony Storm, of course she could do it for me. I knew that all
I knew
along.
that
It's
going
like,
in.
well, that's beautiful, really.
Yeah.
Honestly, now my, like, the way that I'm thinking about it is I'm like, right, they had that threesome, and Mariah was like, you two like each other a little too much. Now you're both on my shit list.
Yeah.
She was mad that she wasn't the center of attention.
Absolutely.
And so Mariah interrupted that interview and laid Mina out. And I think that's great. I can't wait to watch this keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, it was so good. It really does seem like Mina probably had something going on where they, like a visa issue or something, where she's been on hold for a little while here. But it's like so good to have her back, and it was a really good storyline. Like it would have been fun to have a week or two more of happy times.
There's a world in which like Mina was able to come like right after All In, and like they were having a cheerful reign of terror all these months that like revved into the turn, and like we were like all aghast and like how could they do this, and it was huge. It sucks that we didn't get that, but I'm not mad at them for skipping those beats, because it's like if they have other plans, I'd rather them to just get to it now. So it's like fine, because I'm gonna enjoy this, but like I do have
Yeah. But I was still pretty shocked and horrified this time, so it's like
I didn't expect it to happen right then. So
no, not at all. So
I'm not going to be mad at them for anything at this time. Okay.
We found so much peace on our vacation. We really rebooted. What's there to be mad about,
This is what I'm saying. This is what it's like to be the casual viewer. You're just like, I'd take it or leave it. Like, just got a snack during that. No biggie.
Yeah,
And
it doesn't really affect my life that much.
It's, I think keeping a certain amount of that energy could be healthy for all of us.
Probably.
But also, it's okay to start to interrogate the product a little more. The more you watch it every week, as we will once more, beginning now. Well, that was a great speech, Allie. Very quickly, Swerve had a little backstage segment where he looked really down in the dirt about that Bobby Lashley outcome.
Really down in the dirt. It was.
Sexy.
I enjoyed it. Very
It was
much.
sexy, and
very much.
I
indeed.
loved seeing it. The man
you
looked
said,
so
like,
close to
even-
tears.
I think you said even his hair looks a little droopy.
It did. Well, because for the pay-per-view, he had like a real updo style, but his hair was completely down because he was sad. He wasn't feeling good. And he got interrupted at this rough moment by Max Caster, who was mouthing off to him. And Max...
I love that this started also with Max Caster walking by and Swerve being like, what are you laughing at? It's like, I think Max Caster should get punched for having a smug face more often, frankly.
It does feel right and believable that this would be his backstage experience, where he may or may not even have been responding to Swerve, but he certainly looked like he was thinking something rude.
Yeah.
And Max went a little too far, said something about Swerve's house burning down. Swerve freaked out, beat him up. He's wearing some really cool pants. And and that's the segment. And Max Caster is like maybe going to become affiliated with Hurt People, I think.
Yeah, seems like it.
So this seemed, I was a little surprised, but then I thought, I don't know, I liked this. So
Yeah,
we'll see
I
where it
thought
goes.
it's like I am not necessarily excited for Swerve to have a whole feud with Max Caster, but I felt like this was the best way to set it up. It was like it worked perfectly with both their characters. Like you had a little Hangman callback. Like Swerve's still very sensitive about that, which is horny. Like Max Caster should be getting bullied, you know. So it's like great setup for a feud.
Them mentioning their own history together is great. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, totally. Mentioning the tag.
Oh, that's true. Getting back to the
stuff.
tag title stuff. Yes. A little continuity. Can't go wrong. Okay. And then I think the final thing, and we don't even have to get into it if we don't want to, because we're pretty out of time. Adam Cole did have a little in-ring promo where he went at Max again, and then Kyle O'Reilly came out to the MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman. And then Kyle O'Reilly came out to the ring and was like, let me fight Max. And I do think that last week he was arguing that other people shouldn't be fighting for Adam Cole anymore. We already got into that earlier. I don't think it adds up.
It doesn't add up.
It is what happened. And
I'm a little like I think we should talk about this, but I'm like at a point where it's like, okay, well, like what can they do to solve this? So it's almost like boring to talk about because I'm like, they just have to stop doing this because it's like they've just shortcut like every single thing that comes out of anybody's mouth, anybody involved, Roddy, Kyle, Adam, or MJF. It's like footage not found. Footage not found. Right. What are you talking about?
It's wild. I think I saw people saying too that like the last promo that Kyle had with Adam, which I didn't watch, they were like, oh, it was like epically bad. Like they both did a terrible job. So I was kind of excited for this to be like a huge train wreck, but unfortunately it was mostly just like serviceable, but it made no sense. And it really is just like, why are we doing all of this with all of them? Like just send them in different directions, like reboot it, pretend none of it happened.
Well, and I think like a lot of it probably, I think the parts we're missing is that some of it like depends on knowing NXT lore, which I find offensive. And it's like
depend on that unless you're going to give us a little video package.
And it's
from NXT, which is footage you can totally get so
easily. I bet it's easy to work well with WWE.
Yeah, they're so friendly.
It just sucks ass because on its face, like the idea that like Kyle is gonna rescue Roddy because he thinks Adam Cole, like Roddy's in love with Adam Cole and Kyle knows that Adam's not going to treat him right, so he's trying to get his friend out of a bad relationship. That sounds right up our alley. Like that sounds like something we should love, but it's all like so cynical and empty and like calorie-less that it's sort of like, well, I'm not.
And none of it feels genuine like at all. Yeah.
Kyle loving, you know how much I love this man. He shouldn't even be emotionally capable of understanding any of the arguments that he's making. The sickest thing about this to me is that Kyle came out for this in-ring segment with Adam Cole and looked so normal. He looked like a normal man who just has normal thoughts, and he's never been to the Arctic, and he's never been on a ship in his life, and he's not a rat, and he's not a golem. He's not 1,000 years old and used to be on the tear, and his finger is buried somewhere in Canada. He just looked normal.
He looks like a husband. He looks like a husband on House Hunters.
Yeah, like exactly on House Hunters. I think I said in our group chat, like he looks like your friend's boring boyfriend who's really into home brewing. You know,
I didn't like when you said that, and it made me really upset. It really hurt my feelings. But it was
Kyle shouldn't know what home brewing is.
No, he shouldn't know what beer is.
No, because he's 1,000 years old. He should only drink grog and mead.
And his own urine in a pinch. I think that you're just missing out on, like, I think that I kept going back and forth about whether I thought that Kyle should even be allowed to get involved with Adam Cole again. And I don't know what I said in the past, but now I'm coming down on the side of like, no, this isn't good for him. This isn't safe for my little boy. Like
he's getting it with the wrong crowd again. They're making him dress like a normal man.
I hate it. It's like when in the Addams Family when little Pugsley is going to turn into a normal boy, and they're just like, oh God, well we'll love him, but at what cost? I need him to be weird.
And it sucks so bad because, like, he found his freak in Mark Briscoe.
I
Mark
know.
Briscoe was saying, you eat people, that's fine. Like, I respect you.
Does he even care about Mark Briscoe anymore?
That troubles me. Some of the stuff they've done with the conglomeration, I'm like, I don't know that I really get this. I don't know. So I don't know what to do with any of this, but as Leah said, I guess probably just stop doing what they're doing. But probably they won't until I assume that the MJF Adam Cole thing is happening at World's End.
I feel like they tape all these pre-tapes and then they're like, well, we're locked in, we got to keep going even if it sucks ass.
You're
and it's
right.
Like, we got to stop doing that, you know?
It's sunk fallacy.
Yeah.
And this one, this pre-tape was also so funny because of how, I guess this is how all of them are, but for some reason this one really struck me, that MJF was so directly responding to, like, what should have been an unpredictable interaction that had just happened in the ring. And I was like, I guess he has, like, he's precognizant, I guess. Like, I guess he just knows what will happen, so he films his little pre-tape. I don't know what I'm supposed to think about them. Okay. Is there anything that we didn't talk about that you wanted to talk about?
No.
Oh, they look so sleepy, my little co-hosts. It's harder than, hey, your stamina's down, huh? It's harder than you remembered to podcast. But was it fun?
It was fun. I missed you guys.
It was fun, yeah.
I missed you guys too. I'm sure we got a lot of stuff wrong. So
we're just casual fans. You know?
We're just
you can't expect that much out of us.
Hey, we're just casual fans.
You have to appeal to us.
Yeah, that's right. You win our votes. On that note, I have been Allie.
I've been Ann.
And I've been Leah.
It's Tunnel Talk. Our theme is by Chris Corkin. We have merch now. You can find it at chop-tees.com. You can find us on Twitter and Tumblr at Tunnel Talk Pod.
And Blue
Twitch.
Sky.
And Blue Sky, yes.
We have a
and
Blue
Twitch
Sky
and Blue
now.
Sky at Tunnel Talk Pod. Is that what we are?
Uh-huh.
That's what we are. And you can find us via email, tunneltalkpod@gmail.com. You can also find us on the Social Suplex Network feed, where you can check out some of the other great podcasts on the network and on the Social Suplex Network Discord. Please rate, review, and subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. My God, stay frosty. And as always, please come back next week.
It's AutoNation's Black Friday used car sales event. Now through Sunday only. Take advantage of reduced prices on thousands of used cars, trucks, and SUVs. All makes, all models on sale. Domestics, imports, luxury, on sale. This is one Black Friday used car sales event you can't afford to miss. Hurry to the AutoNation store near you today or shop now at AutoNation.com.